Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kit Kat Ginger, and today we are going to be building a micro home in the world of Mount Komorebi, which is the world that came with the Snowy Escape pack. This build is, as I said, a micro home, and it only uses the Snowy Escape pack and base game. So if you have Snowy Escape, you can use this build very easily. If you would like to use it in your game or just want to fill up your world a little bit more with maybe like houses, this is here. So this is a 20 by 15 lot in the world of Mount Komorebi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it completely correctly, but I'm doing my best. I've heard it said that way. And yeah, it's a pretty traditional style house. I really liked that wood tone fence with the, I think it's black or like really dark brown trim that I went with, and then those doors and things that came, doors and windows that came with the pack, they match each other pretty well. So I really liked that grainy wood tone that was the darker wood. I went with that for most of it. And this build is fairly brown, like a lot of the exterior is brown. The inside is like lighter wood tones, but you know, it's still pretty brown. But I think that the color scheme that I went with is nice. It works. But yeah, since this is a micro home, it's very small, not a lot of space, and also I tried to do it within like a reasonable budget. It's not exactly a starter home. It's a little bit over that, but it's pretty close to being a starter home. Unfortunately, I couldn't bear to have any fewer things in it, and I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to budget when I was placing the necessities. I think that bed is actually a little bit expensive, but I went with it anyway because it's from the pack and it looks really nice. I really like that sliding door as well. I think it looks really pretty. I end up flipping the bathroom to the other side, and I think I put a window back in it. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. But initially I tried to fit a sink, a toilet, and a shower in the bathroom. I end up having to remove the sink because it's too small, being just that 2-tile bathroom. And then I'll just throw, I think it's a half hip roof over on the side where the bathroom is, and try to blend it in with the roof line. So the reason I decided to do this build is because of the lovely Twitch streamer, simmer, YouTuber now. It's Troz. Troz created a 100 tiny builds list of build ideas using only the micro, small, or tiny home feature that came with Tiny Living. And so there are 100 builds on this list. I'll link it in the description below. I think this one is number 36. It's in the 30s, I believe. But one of the groups is to make a collection of micro homes that are traditional to the Mount Komorebi style. So that is this one, and I think I'll start doing those as part of the speed builds, to go through those, because speed builds are a lot quicker if the build is smaller. And you know, if you've been to my channel before, you know that quite a few of the builds that I have put up, I've said specifically that they have taken me kind of an embarrassingly long amount of time because they are so large, and I don't necessarily restrict myself on those builds, so there's just a lot of options. So with the list that Troz made, it's usually a few packs or like one pack in base game, and that is what this one ends up being. It's just the one pack from the Snowy Escape with base game, and so limiting your packs is really helpful to making the build go more quickly. I mean, sometimes I get a little hung up on some of the styles and like take a while to choose things, but limiting the packs really helps kind of limit my choices in that regard and help me not have to search through the catalog looking for something that I'm like, no, it's there, but what is it called and where is it? Is it decor? Is it a functional item? Like, it's hard to find things sometimes, especially when you don't have the pack restriction on. So that's what these are really helpful for, to just, you know, honestly, it goes quicker. It took me about an hour to build this, whereas, you know, my previous speed build, the winter cabin, it took like 6 hours. Also, there's a little bit of footage that's been cut out of the end of this. I think that I had paused when I was about to do landscaping, and so there's no footage of me doing the outdoor landscaping beyond this point. So I will go back in game at the end and just show you around the outside a little bit more. So here in the kitchen, we use the stove from Snowy Escape, but I don't use the fridge just because I think the white swatch of that fridge has like kind of like wood grain on it, and I wasn't really interested in that for the kitchen. I don't know why specifically. Also, we don't have an interior trash can, just the exterior one. Exterior? I cannot speak. I thought about using that shelf, but it's kind of big and I don't feel like it looked very good over the fridge there, so I used the smaller shelf that came with the pack in the light brown color, I believe I end up going with. The living room is also very tight. I wanted to be able to put a TV in, so I don't end up going with like a sofa that came with the pack. I do leave that one there for a little while, but I ended up putting a chair over there and then a shelf just in the corner. I don't know what I was doing with the tiles. I was just messing around, testing things. You know, sometimes when you're playing, if there's a swatch of something that you don't really use, you kind of just test it to see what other iterations of it looks like. I do go with that lighter tone flooring with the green, I want to say stripe, but that's probably not the right word. That green bit on it, I don't know. I don't know how to explain anything. But I go with that, and it's mostly, I think, like I said, on the outside, it's a lot of wood tones, but on the interior, it is more lighter colors because there isn't a lot of space, and so it makes more sense for it to be lighter in tone. I do fix the bathroom walls eventually. I keep noticing that they're not all the right tile, but I will fix that later on. For the dining room, I just use that low table, the small one with little cushions, and put it just right in the middle of the area. Like I said, there's not a lot of space, so you kind of have to do the most with what you can, like based on what you have in the space that's available. Again, I do try to put a sink in the bathroom. It ended up not functioning and I couldn't get it to function, so now there's just a sink in the kitchen area. I put this little chair in the corner. I think it's really pretty. It has that little blanket on it. The texture is so nice on it. It looks so fluffy. I just want to curl up under it. And then an outdoor seating area, which I think ends up being pretty nice. And I do put a chess table outside. It also doesn't make it into the speed build because I think I just like paused the recording to do something and then came back and never unpaused and thought I was done. So that bit never got recorded. I placed some clutter items, but again, as part of the tiny build challenge, one of the things is that there's often a financial restriction placed on the specific build. So this is supposed to be a starter home. It ends up being a little bit more than starter home cost. I believe like starter homes are about 18,500 simoleons, and this one is like I think 20. So it's a little bit more pricey than your typical my starter home, but I think that a lot of the items that came with Snowy Escape are a little bit more pricey, but they're beautiful, so I wanted to use them and make sure that it looks like a proper build from Snowy Escape. I end up putting a little heater out there in the living room, and I sized that shelf down because it is kind of big, but there I can put the TV and it functions, and some other little clutter items to just kind of make it look more complete and more full. There's not a lot of clutter in here just because of there's not a ton of clutter in the pack, but also we ran out of money, so couldn't really add very much more than I already did. There's already too much stuff in here. I put a mirror in the bathroom, even though that ends up getting removed as well, but there will be a mirror in the bedroom, so there is a place to change your clothes. There's no room for a dresser either, but I do put a mirror along that wall right there, just to kind of improve the space and the decor. I don't know how to say this word anymore. Just to improve the appearance. My goodness. Does anyone else have that problem where they cannot speak when they're supposed to be talking? That's what's happening right now. But the build is actually fairly close to being done, honestly. I add this little bench at the end, and I shimmy the bed back a little bit, and then the bed just have the seat at the end, and it does all function. I did play test this, which is why I ended up deleting the sink in the bathroom, but here I'm just placing a few clutter items on the shelf, and most of them end up being alt placed because they are trying to slot to a slot that is messed up now that I sized down that shelf, because it is just really big. That little plant is floating, but it's low enough that I don't think, if you do end up using this as a house to play in, it's not going to it's not going to be visible, which is good. I tried to reorient the kitchen a little bit, but did not end up going with it. I add a coffee pot in the kitchen because I think it looks cute in there. Some other pieces of art along the wall. But yeah, it's pretty close to being done. We are nearly there. This speed build is so much shorter than any of my other ones, which is probably because the footage was so much less. It's so much shorter. And the house is a lot smaller. There's not a lot we can do. When I do when I landscape the outside, I use mostly debug items. And again, that is just to lower the cost of the lot. But yeah, here I am just placing a couple of clutter items in the kitchen. I'll add the coffee pot in shortly, along with a little plant. And I like to put those wine bottles on top of the fridge. I think it's pretty realistic and cool. I put some other like clutter items on those shelves, and just be wary if you do play in this build. If you are coming across that you have a smelly kitchen and you don't know where the smell is coming from, it could be that your sim dropped a plate on one of those shelves. So just be wary. They will do that. They will leave their dirty plates on those kitchen counters, or in the kitchen counter actually. But yeah, the build is really close to being done. At the end, there is a little tour of the outside as well as the screenshots that are normally in the build. But thank you again for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss any more content. And yeah, if you have any thoughts, if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. Let me know what you think of the Snowy Escape pack. I think it's really pretty. I don't use it often for a lot of the builds that I do, but I think it is a really pretty pack and a beautiful world. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.